Hello and welcome to Songs for the Struggling Artist, the blogcast. My name is Emily, and I just want to tell you that I have recorded this introduction I don't even know how many times at this point. I am trying to record kind of in the middle of the day. I have a little chunk of time in this moment, and I'm trying to get ahead of my podcasting a little bit because I'm going to be out of town in the next couple of weeks. So I wanted to kind of get this one in the can and ready to go for you later next week, whenever you're listening to this, in fact. But I keep... Anyway, so I've been recording this introduction, and I think it's because it's too early in the day for my brain to actually make sense of words. I am decidedly a night owl, and my brain kicks in later. It just does. And I've been sitting here going why can't I get those words out? And I think it's just really that I'm trying to do this early in the day. I'll be able to read the thing just fine. I can read, I can teach, I can do all the kinds of stuff, even early in the morning if I need to. But there is something about trying to access thought for me if it's before 2, maybe 3. I don't know. It's just funny. Anyway, I thought I'd share that insane fact with you that I apparently just can't come up with words at this hour. So I'm going to read to you instead because that's going to go a lot better. So here it is. This blog is called How We Can Win. I'm in a cafe. It is quiet. Scattered around the room are people studying, working, reading, silently doing their thing. Then suddenly, out of the silence, a man's voice booms. He is making a phone call. It is a very important business phone call that features price points and $1 million offers. It is insufferable. And all around the room, the rest of us are looking up from our tables, looking at one another, catching one another's eyes, and laughing. There were even some exclamations from around the room. Someone proclaimed it to be like a sketch from Saturday Night Live. And Mr. Businessman, Mr. Old White Moneybags Businessman, kept going, completely oblivious to the room around him. A room full of people laughed at him together and were absolutely united in our mutual disbelief in his inconsiderateness. He never wavered. Meanwhile, if we'd wanted to, we could have organized and overthrown his loudmouth self. The crowd was made up of mostly women, one man of color, and a teenage boy. And we were all able to quietly connect to one another with ease, with just looks and laughter, and not one of us was ever noticed by the buffoon on the phone. And I thought, we're not people to him. He thinks he can make his business deals in the middle of a crowded cafe because none of us matter to him. He even mentioned to whomever who was on the other end of that call that something he'd just said was confidential. And he'd literally just shouted it in a crowded cafe. But he didn't worry about us in any way because to the wealthy old white man, a bunch of women, a man of color, and a kid just don't exist. And it occurred to me that this sense of invisibility is something we could use to our advantage in the right circumstances. We could, in fact, organize ourselves right under the power brokers' noses, and they wouldn't notice until we were throwing them in the moat. It reminds me of that tweet that's been going around. It goes, ladies, what's your makeup routine? I'm looking for a new foundation, preferably liquid, but still matte. And now that the men have stopped reading, we riot at midnight. While I find this hilarious, I also think that since the tweet was by a woman, probably men weren't even reading in the first place. I mean, seriously, we could pick a date and riot at midnight and plan the whole thing in plain sight without even having to veil it in makeup tips. I think I spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to be seen. But this experience in the cafe made me think about the power of being invisible. And maybe, just maybe, I'm feeling a little ready for a serious upending of things. I'm enjoying listening to the Coups, the Guillotine, a little bit more than I should, perhaps. Some of the lyrics. They own the judges, and we got the proof. And we got the guillotine, you better run. But shh, don't tell the guy on the phone. Then again, if we did get the guillotine, he would not see it coming. Have you guys seen the video for the guillotine? The Coups, the guillotine? Which I just referenced there at the end of the blog. It is, I can't possibly describe it. I love it, but I feel like it feels like I shouldn't love it, but I do. I love it a lot. There's something really, like it if there's a sense of release around it, or just like the idea that maybe it's just the idea of like a freaking revolution, you know? I don't know. Like, I'm not interested in violence, and yet I really am. Like, it just makes me giggle. And the song is I think funny, and so is the video. So there is a way where, you know, you can enjoy the pleasure of imagining it without feeling the threat of actual violence. And I feel like that's what's kind of amazing about Boots Riley's film as well. So The Coup is a band that Boots Riley, it's his band, I guess. I don't know. Here, you can probably tell me more about this than I've only just discovered Boots Riley and The Coup, so I am well behind the curve on this point. But I discovered this song. They played the video for this song, The Guillotine, before the screening of Sorry to Bother You, which is Boots Riley's film. And yeah, I was like, what am I about to watch? I was so excited. And then the film also just blew me away. Really, just like I was laughing hysterically, and also, you know, in great pain. I mean, it's amazing. It's not an easy film to watch, but yeah, it's see it, just see it. All right, so song. Here's your song for today. It's not The Guillotine. Don't worry. I don't think I could do it. I really don't. I mean, I love dancing to it in my living room, but I cannot. What it is, though, is a song that I have had in my head. It just popped in. I feel like in the last month or so, and I did not know what blog I was gonna stick it to, just because it just felt like a song I needed to sing right now. And then I thought, oh, it's this one. This is the one it belongs to. And I am not entirely sure why, but it does. So this is a Crowded House song called In My Command, and I am not entirely sure what the song is about. The more time I spend with it, the less clear it becomes to me. And there are parts of it that I find just kind of disturbing, like a little bit, especially when sung by Neil Finn, who's the songwriter, and a man. There's a part where he asks whoever he's singing to be submissive just this once. And partly it's like cool because it's just this once, but also weird. Anyway, it's complicated. It feels complicated to me, this song. And I don't know what to make of it, but I also really love it. So it's a funny combination. Like I don't, it's not a straight shot, this song. But that's partly why I am kind of interested in it. Anyway, that's why I recorded it for you. And I'm going to put it here because, it's not as simple as starting a revolution and getting the guillotine, unfortunately. And that tends to not work out in the way that we hope, those guillotine moments. It's like imaginatively satisfying, but in reality, I don't want to see people's heads cut off. So it's always more complicated. And I feel like this song is a bit of that. So before I play it for you, just want to remind you if you want to listen to other songs, they are on your digital platforms like your Spotify, your Google Play, your Deezer. Who's on Deezer? Anybody? But apparently, because some people listen to things on Deezer, I don't even know what it is. And whatever else. So it's there. The songs that are from last year are there. This year's songs are not there and probably won't be. So enjoy them on the blog. Because I'm not going to go through all of the craziness of buying licenses and putting them up and all of that stuff. I'm not doing it this year. So if you want an album of these songs that are featured here at the end of each blogcast, become a Patreon patron. Become a patron of mine on Patreon, because I will sort of bundle up all of the songs and get them to my Patreon patrons. So those folks will have them in a bundle, but I'm not gonna basically I'm not gonna put up all the dollar bills to post stuff digitally. So enjoy them there while you can, because also I'm probably going to let those licenses expire. Not the mechanical licenses, which I still have, but basically the way it works is that I pay a chunk of money to Reverb Nation, which then sends out the digital files to all those different platforms. And the first year is $20 to submit to all of those places. And then next year, it'll be $50 to keep them there. And I am not going to pay that $50 unless, if there's a, outcry and everyone's like, please, and then that outcry is supported by $1 bills, then I will do it. But I feel like they're not going to probably remain. Anyway, so heads up on that point. Enjoy them. And at the end of their year, they will probably go. So you can find those songs under my full name, which is Emily Rainbow Davis, and that's enough blather, isn't it? Here's the song. This is In My Command. Standing in a deep dark hole, beneath the sky as black as coal. It's just the fear of losing control, you know so well. Don't miss it when the moment comes. Be submissive just this once. Imagine there is something to be done, some truth to tell. Trouble you in your time of need. Lose your way. It's a pleasure when you're in my command. Struggle like a diplomat. Struggle to hold on to your hat. Swinging like an acrobat, and the time will tell. Clock is tripping on the wall. Listen to the rise and fall. Close your eyes and hear the call. You know so well. I would love to trouble you in your time of need. Lose your way. It's a pleasure when you're in my command. Put on your wings. You're responsible for everything. safe in isolation. You're about to be the victim of a holy visitation by the rights that I've been given. Put on your wings. You're not responsible for everything. I would love to trouble you in your time of need. Lose your way. It's a pleasure when you're in my command. Lose your way. It's a pleasure when you're in my command. When you're in my command, in my command.